So, sorry about that. Once again, yeah, so I mentioned I'm trying a different camera angle here. We're gonna see if we like it. Yeah, so this is the ship that we worked on last stream. Oh, Kyle, welcome back. Nice to see you again. And Incentia. We have our Carrack here that we were white boxing or gray boxing last time. And so gray boxing basically just means to build like a low fidelity version of the asset that serves gameplay purposes. So like you can jump on it and you can like, you know, has the collision geometry, but it's just there for gameplay. It doesn't look nice, right? So, but what I did off stream is I kind of made all the nice looking bits, or more nice. So you can see we now have textures, which have some nice looking parallax mapping. So you can see like on the boards of wood there, if we toggle parallax mapping on and off, you can see it like adds a lot of depth to the object. It's pretty cool. And anyway, so why don't I give you a brief tour of our new Carrack? And actually, before we do that, we're back with Sumol again today. Classic soda from the nation of Portugal. Anyway, so here we have okay, I'm trying to remember my nautical terms. We're on the top of the aft castle. So there's like, so this is the stern or the aft. I can't remember exactly which, but basically like the castle, from what I understand, is like the sections that they add on top of the deck. It's kind of like in a little building. So this is the top of the ship here. We're gonna go from top to bottom. So this is yeah, kind of where you would just look out. In later ship designs, you would have a ship's wheel here. Aft basically means butt side, so easy to remember. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So yeah, you have on later ship designs you would have a wheel. But the interesting thing is, I just learned this, that the ship's wheel basically didn't exist until the 18th century, so like the 1700s, right? And so before that, they basically had like a stick, and other various methods of steering ships. But so I haven't added that part yet. But okay, so if we go down, let's sort of drop off. We have the captain's quarters here. We can see there's been some distress, because this is supposed to be a wrecked ship. We're going to deal with a little more messing it up a bit later, but we have the captain's quarters. We have another... That's a little bit of a bug. We're not supposed to be able to see the sun below the horizon, but I'll deal with that later. What was I saying? So, this is just another deck. It probably has a name that I don't remember. I'm thinking to develop a game engine using Rust and Vulkan. What do you think about that? Do you think it's a good idea using Rust instead of C++? Okay. That's a loaded question. I am not a big Rust guy. I don't think it's a bad language. However, I think C++ is a really good language and has a lot of libraries. So I think that if you try to use Rust, you're gonna run into issues. That is not really the fault of Rust, but you're not gonna have the same resources that you have when you're dealing with C++. Also, once again, I'm not a big Rust guy, but I've heard Rust can be very annoying sometimes. But that's not my experience. I haven't really used it other than some basic toy examples. So I always recommend you use C++. But if you really want to use Rust, you can use Rust if you want. Yeah, that's basically my perspective on it. So yeah, here we have the, this is the poop deck, which has a nice name. It's called the poop deck for exactly the reasons why you would assume. Basically, it was a really common thing to basically just shit off the side of ships back in the day. Like, I mean, where else are you gonna put it? Like, they didn't have, like, toilets in the sense that we have now. So, like, now, on later, larger ships, like the officers and stuff, they would have actual, like, bathrooms. But, at this time, basically, people just pooped off the side of the ship. It's just how they did it. Yeah. Anyway, here we have the bow of the ship. This is our forecastle. And now we're gonna go onto the gun deck. Uh-oh. It seems to be filled with water because it's nighttime. Oh, and all these things have floated up. I'm just gonna restart this so that we can go back into the daytime. Be right there. But, yeah, so since it's daytime now, if we go back into the gun deck, we will see that there's no water. But there's water down here in the hold because it's leaking in. So this is where you'd have the cannons. I haven't put the cannons in yet because the cannon model that I have is too big for a ship. I need to make a naval gun, which we could do today. I could work on the naval gun. Why don't we do that today? Anyway, so this is the gun deck. This is also where you would have a lot of the crew sleeping quarters, sort of behind this area. I believe a normal number of people to crew this type of ship would be like 20. Now, I am new into game dev. I just want to be crystal clear. Thank you for your opinion. I am staying with C++. Yeah, like, once again, C++ is not the easiest language in the world. From what I understand, neither is Rust. But with C++, at least you're going to have a lot of knowledge to draw from. You're not going to be fighting, sort of trying to learn. It's easier to learn something that more other people already know, is what I'm trying to say, basically, right? Just because C++ knowledge is more widespread, it's going to be easier for you to find information on it. So anyway, I can also drop into the hold. We can see here that it's flooded. Yeah, exactly. A lot of game-specific libraries are in C++ or C. And in C++, you can use C libraries easily. So that's also good. Whereas in Rust, basically, from what I understand, you can use C libraries without too much trouble, but they're, like, unsafe. And in Rust, in order to do things that are unsafe, you need to kind of jump through a lot of hoops. So yeah, that's what I understand. But I could be wrong on that. So I just put this piece of wood here so that I could get back up. Oopsies. Yeah, the climbing mechanics are getting in the way a little bit. So yeah, we can see here's the hold here. So we can get back up, yeah. So my plan with the ship is to sort of like make like almost like a mini Zelda dungeon with it, because I think that would be really fun. There's not a lot of like indoor areas in the game, so I thought this would be good. And here you can see the volumetric lighting coming through the little bit of light shaft. Actually, I can just toggle that so you guys can see, but see? I thought that's just a really cool effect that I like. Yeah, so if we go up here, we can see that we can see the whole island from the ship. And oh, actually, there's one more feature that I put on that I wanted to see if we can see from here. We go back here. Actually, we can't read it, but let's get into the water and try to avoid the sharks. You can see there's some sharks swimming over there. Yeah, there we go. The chip has a name. Bon successo, which means good success or great success. Basically, that was the name of a beach that I went to in Portugal, and I thought it would make a good name for a ship. So we got... Yeah, we got the shark over here. Let's try to avoid him. But we can swim back to shore. But yeah, I think after we do a little bit of messing around on shore, we're gonna build a cannon, a new cannon. There, you can kind of see, actually, there's a little bit of a... It's not a bug, but just sort of a limitation. You can see the reflections aren't matching up here between these two things. It's something I gotta work at, but basically, like, there's no alpha testing in the reflection mode, so some things get screwed up. That was originally a performance optimization, but I actually realized that, like, some of the things are billboards, so they, like, rely on alpha testing. So I need to make it so that some things can still be alpha tested. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I think I need to add more sharks because I think that we... I don't want to explore the ship too early in the game, so I think I need to add more sharks to make that a more perilous event. All right. So here we got our crabs and everything. Yeah. I think why don't we start building the new cannon model, and then we can get into Blender and do that. So, let me get the secondary music ready so we can key that up. All right, so here we are back in the Sea Lion, my IDE of choice for now. But we're gonna get to building a new cannon. So, let's open the ship model first so we have a reference of... yeah, let's save that. So, I'm gonna go into the ship model. Actually, we have this cutaway here. We can see all the stuff we've been working on. But what I want to do here is... So the cannon's supposed to come out of this, right? We need to figure out how high the cannon is off the deck. So Blender... Actually, let's... Where is it? Okay. Blender has a tool for this. The measure. So I think if we click here... is that... Okay, no, we need to do it more like... Ugh, it's... I think I need to go straight on, okay. Because the parallax is messing with it. Okay, 0.765. Yeah, 0.765 is the height of the... It's got to clear. Alright, so... Now, I'm gonna open a new Blender window here. And I'm gonna open the cannon file because we're gonna base it off this. So let's go into modeling mode. Just because we have all the textures and everything we need in here. So I'm going to add object mode. I'm gonna add a cube, and this is actually, I'm just gonna use this as the reference. So the height is gonna be 0.765, because that's we need, this is going to be basically the bottom of the, what was I going to say? It's going to be the bottom of the cannon gun. So it has to clear this height. Let's get that back to 2 meters. Maybe that's, all right. And then I'm gonna shift this up. Snap to grid. This is gonna be active element. Wait, come on. Is that? Why are you being annoying? Okay, here's what I can do. I can just move the position to 0.765 over 2 and then apply that. No. Apply that. Okay, now we have our reference. So I think I can close this guy now. And now we can start making our gun. So I'm gonna find some references. The cannon. For the time. Okay. Naval cannon, 1600s. That's 1500s. It actually seems like they don't change a lot. Like they all kind of look like this, seems like for hundreds of years. Oh, I know what I can look for. So I'm gonna look for a specific ship. The Vasa, which was a Swedish ship that that sank on its maiden voyage, but okay, it looks exactly the same. So I'm gonna save this. Wait, no, I wanted to save the image, not the okay. So, but we can see it's a lot shorter. It's like it's a bit shorter than that gun here. So, okay, this is perfect. This is exactly the right angle. So anyway, the Vasa is a ship in Sweden that sank in the 1600s, and then they hauled it up in the 1950s and refloated it and then put it in a museum. And actually, you can kind of see it in the background here. If I ever go to Sweden, I will have to go see that ship. I'm gonna move this guy, our reference, so that we have it lined up. And also, I'm gonna hide this guy. We don't need to see the other cannons. Wait. Oh. Sorry. Just making sure I don't hide the reference as well. Ugh. Why do you keep selecting that? Okay, cool. Sorry. There we go. So I'm just gonna move that into position. Just kind of scale it to how big we want it to be. Okay. Tiny bit bigger. Oh. Okay, that's probably good. We'll have it clear a little bit because it actually does need to go through the hole. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add a plane. We're gonna start in 2D. Actually, let's delete the plane. Add a... I'm just trying to see what the... Yeah, add a plane. We're gonna start in 2D, and then we're going to, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete all the vertices and add a... Actually, delete all the vertices except one. Then I'm gonna move that to 0, 0, 0. Actually, local 0. Then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put it right here so we have a good starting point. I guess this pin will be our origin. Or sorry, this pin here, because that's sort of the center line of the cannon. What operating system do you use? Why, thank you for asking. I use Arch, by the way. This is Arch Linux. I used to use Windows until very recently. I have been extremely dissatisfied with the state of Windows lately and how much like AI bullshit they're trying to cram into it and how unstable also it's become. Like, so they're cramming in all these features that like nobody wants, and then the operating system runs like shit anyway. So I would rather use an operating system that is shit unintentionally rather than one created by people who are evil. Yeah. So I think that Linux is terrible, but it's not intentionally terrible, which is a big difference for me. So I'm just gonna try to follow the lines here, basically, and then we're gonna get our cannon. So interesting mistake I actually think I made on, if we bring back our other cannon, where is it? So I actually made this mistake here. Turns out cannons were not really made of steel like this. That came later. Most cannons, it seems, were made of bronze at the time, which was much easier to work with. And it was only much later that steel cannons became much more common. I use Arch too. Nice. I'm glad we agree on that. Yeah, as to why I picked Arch, I don't really have a good reason. I just thought that, actually, I was pressured into it by my my community. The members of my Discord server pressured me into using Arch, which is fine. Okay, so this is just gonna follow this curve pretty much, and I'm only gonna go halfway because the fact is that cannons have radial symmetry, which is a fun property, which means you only have to make one, not only one half of the cannon, but only one sort of shape, because you just turn it around. So let me show you what that does, what that would actually look. So see, we have this. This doesn't look like a cannon yet, but it'll start to look like a cannon if we do, where is the... I'm trying to remember what the... Was it screw? Yes. You see, that's starting to look more like a cannon. Actually, what is it? Okay, good. That is the topology we wanted. So I'm going to turn that back off, but basically, you can see that even just doing this shape, it's getting us most of the way to the cannon. And by the way, Kyle, when you said I use Arch 2, you're supposed to say I use Arch 2, by the way. Because that's the it's the meme that Arch users apparently say. Okay, so there's a little bit of a issue here in that this cannon is on a tiny bit of an angle. So I'm gonna rotate this just to actually, can we edit? No. I'm gonna rotate this just slightly. Just so that it's actually straight. Yeah. Because the... we're gonna tweak the gun later. Actually, you know what? Instead of doing that... So we'll actually leave this where it is. We're actually gonna rotate this to match the tilt. And then edit mode. And we're actually gonna have to tweak all our lines again, but it's fine. Okay, so now that's probably a better approximation. I'm just gonna bring these down to here. Bring these guys down to here. By the way, lol, yeah. Okay. Is there a way to make these lines more obvious? It's just they're kind of hard to see. Here's what I can do. I can change the opacity here. Yeah, that's much better. Now we can see these lines a little bit easier. So anyway, we're just trying to get the basic shape of the cannon, and then we can turn it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say we're not gonna have all this sort of whoopsies. Wrong button. We're gonna remove all these shapes here because this is the Vasa. The gun is from the Vasa, which is a very fancy ship. And this is sort of gonna be more austere, I think. I just put that back to local 0. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that seems right. Okay, cool. Let's just preview again what this looks like with the modifier. So it seems like it's actually too thick. So I'm gonna go and hit local here. So that's gonna tilt everything to sort of match. Okay, so I'm gonna move that way. And then I think it's just because the photograph is a little bit weird. Yeah, so like the... Oh, I see. The, this is something I didn't expect. The pin is not on the center line of the cannon. That's the issue. So I think, actually, in that case... we can just move everything down. And then move this guy up. And then that's gonna give us a better shape. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually gonna leave it like this, but get that guy back to 0 local space, and then we can go back here and move this guy up again, and that should match close. Yeah, okay, that's what we want now. That actually matches, or more or less, like, yeah, there's something wonky about the angle here of this photo, so I think we're just gonna roll with it. Okay, so this guy does actually have to rotate. Then yeah. It does seem... seems like this is... yeah, I think we're just dealing with a wonky photo. That's gonna have to do. Okay. And I will add 3 more in here. Just because I think it should bulge out a little bit. Make it a little bit thicker. Alright, so let's just finish this bit here. That's going to go inward. And then we can start going back through. Because it's a cannon, so it actually does... it does go inward. And let's just put that at 0, so it closes up. And now, if we go into solid mode... okay, so you may notice there's some weird sort of shading on here. Let's see if we can fix that. I am looking for normals, weighted normal. Yeah, okay. So you see kind of what that does? We can crank that up. It makes the flat spots flat and the round spots round, sort of, if that makes any sense. But we should add a couple more reinforcing edges into here. Just to get the shading just right. And once again, not all of these vertices are going to make it into the final model, because basically, we're going to bake some normal maps, and that's going to do some of the shading, but I never do that on stream because it takes too much computing power, and I can't really stream while doing it on my puny 2060 GPU. But yeah, I'm basically just adding these extra segments to kind of sharpen the shading, if that makes any sense. But yeah, you can kind of see what happens there, right? Like, the shading gets sharper. Actually, if I can kind of explain, maybe I'll give you some secret game dev knowledge here as to why that's happening. So can I show, yeah. Okay. Oh, actually, this is showing the vertex normals before, okay, so this is not ideal because it's not showing them, it's showing them before the modifier, so I actually can't really show you that. But anyway, basically what's happening is that there's an imaginary line coming from each vertex, right? And it's pointing halfway between each of these faces, right? So basically, if you have a small, and because of this weighted normal modifier, it's weighted towards the bigger face. So if you have a small face next to a big face, it's gonna pick the one, the normal is gonna be more weighted towards the big face. Which basically means that this guy and this guy are facing more sharply against each other, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain without the visual aid, but maybe I'll see if we can figure that out later. But yeah, that's really quite nice and sharp there, but probably too sharp. Okay, and then this guy's supposed to be round, so we can just leave him like that. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna make it so that the round... Actually, we do need one more segment here, actually. Because the cannon is gonna have a little bit of a bump on the end, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? See, it looks more cannon-y to me, at least. Okay. One more in here to sharpen it, as I was mentioning. Cool. And now, I'm actually gonna, is there a... Yes, okay, cool. That's... We'll just merge thing to make the vertices at the edge come together, if that makes sense. So, now that we have a basic cannon body, and let's actually compare that to our other one here. It's significantly shorter, which makes sense because it's being used on a boat. Although, yeah, that's probably good, actually. I was just thinking, should it be thicker? It's probably good. I mean, I might tweak that later, but basically, this is our basic gun, and now we need to make the frame. So, let's hide this guy. We don't need to see him anymore, and let's go into wireframe mode. we're gonna now copy this shape. So I'm gonna add a plane. I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees. Oopsies. Ugh. R, Y 90 means rotate it 90 degrees around the Y axis. I'll get it in line with the cannon here. And then we're gonna start building the frame. So let's go into edit mode. I'm gonna add a modifier right now. I'm gonna add a mirror because there's two halves of this frame. We edit mode? Maybe, yeah, x-axis, right? Why is it not mirroring? Okay, apparently it was the z-axis that we needed to pick. Oh, I know why. We need to apply the rotation. That's what it was. Okay, cool. So, and we have two of these now, which is good. So, now we can just start following the shape of this guy. Actually, I'm gonna delete this and do exactly what I did with the, so we're working in 2 dimensions here. Gonna go ahead and hide this guy because we don't need him for now, but we will bring him back. Okay, so edit mode. This is really easy because it's all right angles. And then that just comes all the way over to this side. I'm gonna here. Snap that guy to there. And then we can close that loop there. I'm gonna go ahead and bevel this guy. Yeah, we're gonna add a bevel modifier, and then if we actually we will need to, so I'm gonna make this guy a face first, and now we can see it's got some solidity to it. We're gonna then extrude the face. This, yeah, that way's fine. And I'm also gonna make it so that the bevel only applies to certain faces. Sorry, certain edges. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this weight here. So now it's, the bevel is only going to apply to ones that I add this bevel weight to. And we're gonna do 2 segments of bevel on this. And we're also gonna add a actually, we're gonna leave it how it is for now, but okay, shade smooth, and then we're gonna add a modifier. The normal, the weighted normal again. So you can see it does this kind of weird thing, but that's because the other guys aren't beveled. So actually, if I add a, yeah, that should fix that for now. Oopsies. Why is that? Oh, it's just scaling really slowly, I see. Okay, so there we go. Now we can see that there's a little bit of a bevel here just for fun. Let's set the weight to 100%. Okay, cool. So, actually, let's see now if I can show you that what I was talking about before with the normals. So, if we go ahead and enable the normal display. Oh, maybe it's mesh normals. Yeah, okay, cool. So you see these blue lines. Okay, it doesn't really show it, actually, in that case. That's unfortunate. Or maybe if I do it this way, will it show it? Okay, yeah, there we go. Do you see that as I move this edge, those lines also rotate? That sort of shows the lighting direction, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But... Okay, sorry, I was adding my bevels. I'm actually going to remove these edges. I don't... And then instead, I'm going to make these sharp. And we're going to keep sharp here. Just mark a couple of these guys sharp, and then the other ones are going to get bevels. Just fix my selection there. There we go. That's good. So now, let's get back to our gun. Where did the... Yeah. So these guys actually need to be moved inward a bit because this is the... Yeah. Cool. And we're also going to need a little beam in between to support the cannon. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to temporarily remove this. Go into here. And I'm going to cut a shape. Don't worry if it's not straight. I'm going to fix that later. Let me show you a really fun, useful tool in Blender, and that is Snap to Vertex. So now, if we take this this guy, and we hold down the Control key as we're moving, we can actually snap it right to the one underneath it. And that makes our line perfectly straight. See? Now we have a perfectly straight square here. Just gonna do a couple cuts here, but oh, don't like that one. Okay, cool. Let's leave it how it is. And we're gonna extrude this guy. I'm gonna set this X position to 0. Delete that face. So now it's gonna match up when we mirror it, right? So let's mark this guy sharp. Oopsies. We can hide this guy now because we have our reference set. Mark that guy sharp. Mark that guy sharp. And add some bevels on this one. Okay, what's going on here? We have some weird shading. Why is that? Do we have extra vertices in here? No. Oh, do we have extra faces, maybe? I think maybe our cut is going weird. Okay. It doesn't like this cut. I'm gonna look at the, yeah, that's interesting. And it's got the same issue here. I really want to get rid of this edge, but I don't seem to be able to do that. Let's look at the bevel options. You know what? I'm going to remove the bevel weight on that one, and I'm going to manually bevel it. Okay, so I'm just going to select these. and I'm gonna bevel. Yeah, that's what I want. But there's this guy here, and if I get rid of that, will that fix the shaping? Okay, mark sharp. Mark sharp. Mark sharp. Sorry, mark sharp. Remove that. Alright, close enough. Actually, can I? Yeah, the bevel modifier has issues, I think. Okay. So let's get that here. Now we need this pin. You know what? Can we steal the pin from the other, cannon? Pin.low? Straps.low? Cool. I'm literally just gonna copy these. So, Alt-D. Okay, maybe I can't... Okay, so Alt-P just to clear the parent here. That will probably help us. Where do they... Why are they moving differently? Sorry, I'm gonna snap to, grid. There we go. Oh, because they're mirrored? Oh, I see. It's because they have a, So here we go. I'm going to, in fact... I'm gonna switch their mirror plane to be this guy. So now, I can move... Yeah, okay, perfect. That's actually good, because now I can move them in and out independently. So this guy goes in here. And now I can take these guys. Bring them down. I'm also going to set their mirror plane to be on this guy. And I'm going to rotate them. There we go. Hopefully that'll work. Just adjust to the... Cool, almost done here. Okay, cool. Now, I am gonna give this some texture. I'm gonna remove the armature modifier on this as well, because we don't need that. Oh. That guy should have the armature modifier. Whoopsies. I'm gonna rename that dot naval for the naval cannon. I need to add the armature modifier back. Cool. Sorry. Okay, so let's give this guy some wheels now. The wheels are just going to be basic cylinders. Pretty simple. So let's add a cylinder. Probably don't need that many segments. Let's do 16. Okay. Rotate that 90 degrees. I'm gonna add another mirror. And I'm gonna set the mirror plane to this guy. And so now, we can scale these guys in this way. Move them here. And we can actually just follow kind of this, right? And move them inward. I think they got to be a little bit wider than that. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the scale, because we're gonna UV unwrap it later, which is gonna be important. Okay, and then I'm gonna duplicate linked, because I want these to stay connected. So there we go. I'm gonna just fix the shading here. So let's do a mark sharp, and then a shade smooth. There we go. It's starting to look good. And we're gonna add textures to this in just a minute. But you can kind of see we have our cannon starting to go here. So let's add one more cylinder. Okay, actually, let's just duplicate this one, but shifty this time, because I want to edit it. And then can we? Nope, that's the wrong fit. Let's hide that. Cool. I wanted to, yeah, select the face. This is basically the axle. I'm gonna set that to 0. Oh, because it's 0 local space. Okay, so, but if I do, that's probably good. Is it gonna merge? Probably. Yep. Okay, now, if I re-enable, actually, let's just pull that guy out a tiny bit. And that's good. Scale that around the axle to make it a little bit narrower. Enable the cylinder again. And see, now we have a little axle here. Gonna Alt-D to duplicate linked. And I'm just gonna copy the position here so that these guys line up. What do you mean? Oh, the Y. Okay, it's 0.2. Cool, that's centered there. Okay, something's not quite right. Because I see. Whoopsies. It doesn't extend all the way down, so we're just gonna start by moving this bottom one here down a bit. Just to, yeah, let's just fully do that. That's good. I like that. Easy, simple stuff. Let's do so that there's a little bit coming out, and then we can kind of deal with the results of that in a bit later. Okay, so now, there we go. This is our gun. We're gonna give it a texture real quick. Shading, how's this guy doing? Where's he getting his texture? He's getting it, where's the bear? Okay, so this guy's a complicated material, but the basic worn metal. Actually, this is supposed to be made of brass. Oh, sorry, bronze. So I'm gonna just copy a material that we already have, because that's easier. Resources, textures, dull brass. Let's copy these guys in here. And then we can tint it in the game a little bit later. So I'm gonna take the base color, bring it in here, add a color separate color. That's gonna take the parameters texture here. It's gonna do red for roughness and green for metallic. Hey, nice. It's a little bit too bright, but we'll make it darker in the game. Oh yeah, actually this is supposed to be non-color. The normal here, but we need to add actually, can I copy it from here? Yeah, just these two nodes here. Copy, paste, plug it in here, and plug it in here, and there we go. Very nice. What book or resource would you suggest to learn C++ from scratch? That's a very hard question because, it's been a long time since I learned C++. So I don't really have a book suggestion for you. I mean, like, obviously, like, the C++ programming language by Bjarne Stroustrup, like, from the creator of C++, it's a good resource. I don't necessarily know if that's, like, what you should start with, but, another great resource is CP Reference, which I'm sure you've already used. It's more of a reference site, and sometimes it can be a little bit complicated to read. But yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one because I should have some recommendations, because that's a question I actually get more often than, I get that pretty often, and I actually don't have a good answer for you because it's been so many years for me. And obviously C++ has changed a lot in that time. So yeah, you have a programming background. Okay. Yeah, like I would say CP Reference is a good, it's a good, sort of, reference site, and Bjarne's book is also good. So yeah. We'll disagree on how you should do things. Just learn the syntax and try making things, in my opinion. Yeah, but like there is a okay. If you're just doing it for like game dev stuff, like for your own personal usage, I think that's fine. But like if you're professionally doing C++, you should really like be familiar with the CP core guidelines. That's something you can look up. Like modern CP, like, okay. Another thing is just make sure that when you're learning C++, if you're following any C++ tutorials, make absolute sure that they are talking about modern C++. Like, after C++ 11, hopefully after C++ 17, because C++ has been around for a really long time, and a lot has changed. So, when I was learning C++, the current version of C++ was C++ 98, which it is not anymore. So, I learned a lot of really bad habits that I had to unlearn. Anyway. Sorry, let me just get this wood here, and then I'm gonna unwrap this so that, yeah, there we go. That wood grain doesn't necessarily make any sense, but it's fine for now. I'm gonna do the same for these guys. This guy needs to be UV unwrapped. Okay, that'll do. Okay, this guy's like almost good to go. A little bit annoying is the UVs for these. I am thinking of starting with C++23. Yeah, no, that's absolutely good. Like, a lot of people are still using C++20, especially professionally. Some people are still using 17. But at work, I'm using C++20, and on the game engine, I'm using C++23. So definitely learn the new stuff, because it overrides a lot of the old stuff. Like, it replaces a lot of stuff. And like, a lot of people complain about a lot of things in C++. But they're actually talking about like old C++, and like we fixed a lot of the things. And like, they're like, oh, I don't know how to deal with like manually managing memory. C++ is so hard because you gotta new and delete everything. It's like, literally the current like advice in C++ is like, unless you really know what you're doing and like you're making something that's like, and like, never call new and delete. It's like literally part of the C++ core guidelines. It's like basically saying like, you really, most of the time you shouldn't even be calling new and delete. So it's like, yeah. If that makes sense. Let me just see what I can do with these UVs here. This is the problem with the screw modifier. Is that, do I want that? No, I want... Okay, well, I'm just going to leave the UVs like that, because this is actually going to do fine for our purposes at the moment. But I'm going to go ahead and export this guy as GLTF, as naval cannon.gltf. I'm going to put that in the... one second. Export that. Malloc only. You are planning to learn it only for a game engine. Yeah, like, I still think it's worth, like, knowing all the guidelines and everything, because it does help you in the end. Like, for example, like, oh, you should use standard algorithms when you can. Although a lot of people will disagree with me on that. I'm a big standard library guy. If something is in the standard library, I'm gonna use it. So I'm using std vector any place that it makes sense. I'm using standard algorithms. Like, I think the standard library is a lot better than it used to be. Like, a lot of people in game dev use something called EASTL, which is a like sort of add-on standard library created by Electronic Arts, like the game conglomerate, I guess you call them. And it's fine, but it's kind of, I don't think it's super necessary anymore. I mean, people will fight me on that. Actually, I think that's kind of a controversial opinion. But you know, so yeah, oopsies. Let's get a cannon in here. So, let's create a new... Actually, let's find the mesh. So in here we have our meshes. Cannon. Naval cannon. We're going to create the entity with the mesh here. And this looks basically perfectly sized. Although... Wait. Can I not click my cannon? Oh, because there's no, whoopsies. So, naval cannon. Okay, so we're going to need to add a, physics collider to it. I'm just going to use a box, fit to mesh. We're going to do it super basic right now, because we could, like, we should eventually define, like, a better collision shape to this, but, like, going to avoid that just for the moment. Make that a little bit narrower. Move that back a bit. Cool. Save that. I'm gonna add a... Can we add a cannon? Utility, what was it? It's game? Items. Items. Cannon. There we go. Now. Let's go back to, where am I? Okay, I'm gonna point this out the window right now. Wait, why is it rotating around there? Oh, my bad. I need to do something. Whoopsies. Okay, I need to select all these guys. Actually, I'm gonna add a... add a empty. Gonna move it over to these guys. Just so... we need to set the origin of this in the game. Just, it's kind of a... I'll set it there. Select all these guys. Hit Alt. Hey, Firefly, you're back! We were just making a new cannon. No. Control P. There we go. So now this guy is the parent of, all these guys. And we're gonna call this guy Instance Group 2. Okay, so now I think if we export this as GLTF, Naval Cannon, and we reload our mesh. Whoopsies. Why is that? Something is wrong. Oh. Oh, all the scales are wrong. Interesting, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna apply the scales. Scale. Wait. Okay, the scale's 1 there, actually. Oh, it's the transform. Okay. Ignore that. Sorry, there's just this weird thing in a short Odyssey where we're just gonna move this guy to 0. That will... Wait, why can't I move him to 0? Snap to... Okay, -3. Cool. We just need to make sure that the origin of this guy is here in the file. Don't worry about it. Export as GLTF. There we go. Reload. Oopsies. What's going on there? I think I didn't. Ugh. Sorry, guys. It's just taking a second here. Yeah. So, select all these guys. Export as GLTF. Naval Cannon. Okay. Maybe I just didn't export properly. Oh yeah, what's going on here? Okay, there we go. There's our cannon. And is it cannon? Oh, it didn't have the, Okay, there we go. It's in the right position. And I'm going to go back to the collider. Going to, shape, fit to mesh. And I'm also going to adjust the shape a little bit, just not to include the gun. That'll be fine for now. Now we can rotate this guy and point him out the door. Or sorry, out the, you know. Okay, so now I am going to... Okay, we have our cannon here. We're going to add our cannon component again. Okay, so we need to change our muzzle position to be Sorry, let's go to free camera. We need to align this guy with, wait, where's, okay, here we go. With the muzzle. And we need to also align that guy there. So this is where the cannonball is going to come out. So I'm just going to move it. Whoopsies. Back a little bit. This is too sensitive. I'm going to have to deal with this. But anyway. That's good. So that's where the cannon's going to, that's where the cannonball's going to come out. So I'm going to save this. And now, let's see. Can we fire the cannon? Oh, I need to add a interactable. Increase the radius by 1.5. Save that. Okay, now we have our... Whoopsies. Okay, something is crashing. Get object. Okay, that's a null object. Fire cannon. Okay, it looks like our cannonball does not have a... Oh! I know what it is. Okay. It's because our cannonball, we forgot to specify the, what the cannonball's supposed to spawn. I should probably add a cert for that. Or actually, yeah. A cert for now. You know, it could be an error, but dot empty. So basically we need to make sure that our cannon is that we actually have a cannonball that we're going to fire. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so we can see our little cannon poking out there. Nice. So, let's go back to here. This is the thing that we didn't fill in. So I'm actually going to find, where did the other cannon. I'm just going to copy this, because that's our prefab. We're going to save. Actually, we're going to save the naval cannon as a prefab as well. And now... Oh, that's interesting. It didn't have a sound. Oh, that's because this guy, we need to add the explosion here. So I'm going to add a sound to the cannon and have it use the... Oh, I need to add a search thing to the sound menu. Explosion, there we go. Save that. Save the naval cannon. Okay, that didn't... Why didn't that make a sound? Omnidirectional. Fade under. Okay. That's interesting. Why is it not making the sound? Is it missing something? Oh, also we should add a cooldown time. I'm gonna do that 4 seconds. Firing power. Cooldown time. Oh, maybe it's the level? That's interesting. Still no sound. I'm just seeing, what am I missing here? Alright. You know what? I wonder if I just restart the game, if that will fix it, because sometimes... Whoopsies. Sometimes that happens. Okay, sorry, you're hearing a boom. You're hearing a boom, but that's the boom from the cannonball hitting the water, not the boom. You're supposed to hear two booms. Sorry, it wasn't clear. So if I let's whoopsies. I teleported the wrong thing. So if I go to the fort over here where we have our cannons, these are our working cannons. So listen to this one. So that fired immediately. And then there's the second hit over there, right? Actually, you might not hear that one because it's pretty far away, but let's do this one because this is going to make a sound when it hits the wall. See? Two booms. Two booms. So let's sorry. Okay, we're having a apparently we have some cleanup issues with OpenGL for the sound. But also Nerd Chic Boutique, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. So do we get two booms with this guy now? Actually, where'd our other cannon go? Huh? Naval cannon. Oh. Didn't have a transform. Interesting. But it does now. Okay, so sorry, let's save that. Oh, also this needs to be a rigid body. So that I can actually push it. Shouldn't the hit wall sound technically be something other than a boom because it's an impact rather than an explosion? You're right. You are right. Okay. This guy's way too light. He's like an inflatable cannon. It's kind of funny. He bounces a little bit. So we can use the cannon to fly? I mean, I think that we did have some bugs where actually it was the boat that made people fly somehow. Yeah, like you know, you could I would not be surprised if somebody figures out how to make the boat and Yusuf how to make the cannon fly. But first I'm gonna give the cannon a little bit of weight. How heavy should a cannon be? 200 pounds? Or 200 kilos, sorry. This is in kilos. Yusuf's space program will stay in our hearts, yeah. You know, he's the first man in space in 1600 AD. Okay. Okay, I feel like 200 is not heavy enough. 400 kilos? I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm just gonna... Okay, let's fire this. There we go. 2 booms. Okay. It hit me with the recoil. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Now we have a cannon. I'm gonna quickly adjust the, So this bronze color, it's a little... Sorry, brass, bronze? I don't know. I'm gonna duplicate this material. Material 32 now. Gonna set that to material 32. And then I believe we can adjust the tint to make it a little bit darker. Do we need to... I think that's probably good. Mostly just gray, but maybe a little bit of red. There we go. That's probably a little bit better of a color, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably good for now. Okay, so save that. Save the prefab. Actually, let's just give it naval cannon. Let's just make the name a little bit more okay. It still seems like it's moving around. I mean, eventually we're going to give it, like, rotating wheels and everything like the other cannon. But I think this is a pretty good start. Okay. But yeah, I think Incentia is correct that it should probably be a different sound. But okay. We finished the cannon arc. Let's explore the world a little bit, just for fun. As we often do after we finish our work goal for the stream. So, get our stick again. Let's fight the crabs. Alright, let him come at us. And one more. Dead. Cool. Little thing, I just realized, like, I mean, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense that the crabs are red, because that would imply that they're cooked. So I might need to adjust to that at some point. But yeah, because crabs are, like, sort of more brown, before you, cook them. Let's get our hardtack. Oh, there's no hardtack in here. I thought I put hardtack in here. Huh, interesting. I'll have to look at that later. I think there definitely is hardtack in this barrel here, if I recall correctly. Okay, there we go. We got our hardtack. So what do we got? We got hardtack and crab claw. Cool. Get our sword. As usual. Read the note. Captain has come to the wound, navigator of the Carunia. Now, you will note that that ship is not the Carunia. In fact, it says Bom Successo on it, which is a different ship. But now, let's go up. Talk to Vinny. Blah, blah, blah. Get our quest. Okay, human sorcerer, blah, blah, blah. There's an evil sorcerer. He's a huge jerk. He's got a giant tower. We can kind of see that in the distance. Would you be able to help us with the sorcerer situation? Yeah, sure, whatever. What do you want me to do? Get rid of the sorcerer, but unfortunately, can't take him out directly. There's some 3 primordial beasts, blah, blah, blah. You know, all the quest information. Behemoth. And finally got Ziz. A bird so big as what you can take them all out, then do battle with the sorcerer himself. Capiche? Yeah. Alright, let's go. Oh yeah, one more thing. I have something that might help you. Let me go get it. Wait right here. Now, some of you, if you've been long-time viewers, you might recall all the work required to get Vinny to do this flying path. And the insane mess-ups, like, that he wiped out, like, on the ground a bunch of times. He kept crashing. But now he is actually flying the curved path more or less correctly. Alright. Spyglass. Cool. I found that fancy spyglass and all the shipwreckage it came with. It can help you find things that are very far away. Try going to a high place and looking through it. You never know what kinds of things you might see. Alright, cool. Alright. Next obvious thing would be this fire to check out, which would kind of contradict what Vinny said about there being no other people, but I'll explain that in the game later. Oh, and we got our big bird in the background. Is that perhaps the bird so big his wings can block out the sun? Depending on where you're standing, it can. I did test it. Alright, who's this guy? I need to give him a talking animation. He seems to be giving me BioWare face. Yeah. Let's get some food. However, I need at least 2 for an omelet. Alright, I saw there's a gold nest on top of those rocks in the hill. Perhaps you can climb up and gather some. Okay, bye. Okay, here are the rocks. Let's climb up. Oh, and here are the eggs. In a little nest. Unfortunately, my taskbar is cutting that off, but, I was having some OBS issues, so that's why we're in windowed mode. It was all solved on Windows, but then once I switched to Linux, I had new issues. Ouch. Alright. What is up, sunburned man? I got the eggs you asked for. Go take the eggs in the skillet over there and over to the fire and cook them up. Okay. Cool. Oh, no, I didn't mean to talk to you. I wanted to take the skillet. Okay. This needs to be explained better, I think, but I need to take out the skillet, and I need to cook. So, my face is unfortunately in the way. One moment. One moment, please. Let's move me for a sec to the other side. Okay, now, if we cook, and the frame time graph is in the way now. Now if we cook, we can take our gold eggs, 2 of them, and now we have an omelet which has a missing texture, which I'm gonna need to fix. But I can now eat the omelet and heal up some of that health. Oh, and we got our volumetrics again. All right, cool. Thank you for the cooking tutorial, my mate. Let's go this way. I'm actually really curious to throw the this build on Steam when I get around to it. I should get. Okay, so the reason why there hasn't been a new Steam build in a while is because of the Linux switch, and right now it's a little bit difficult to ship a Linux build on Steam. So I'm just gonna upload the Windows build again, but I do need to go back to Windows and build it. So that is why there's been some delay, but I need to just get around to doing it. The Windows build still does work, or it worked last time I checked, which is a couple weeks ago. And yeah, we will be updating that soon for all of the players of the game. And don't forget that if you're interested in playing the game, there's a Discord server for this game. And if you want to get a code on Steam for the playtest, just join the Discord in the link down below, and then we'll hook you up if you ask nicely. Yeah. And yeah. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and wishlist the game on Steam, because that's also important. All right, what do we got here? We got I walked right past Carmen. Hey, Carmen. What's up? Okay, yeah, I haven't seen anyone else since I lost my crew. I need to rewrite some of the dialogue, because it does seem like there are actually a lot of humans. So I might have... What IDE is that? It is... The IDE I am using is Sea Lion. Which is... It's one of the JetBrains IDEs. I believe they have other ones which... For other languages, which are essentially the same IDE. Like... Rider, I think that's the C# one, and IntelliJ for Java? I don't know. But yeah, Sea Lion is the one for C and C++. That is the one I'm currently using. I used to be a devotee of Visual Studio non-code, like old school Visual Studio Classic, let's call it. I used to be a long-time user of that, but since my exit of Windows, I'm no longer able to use that. Yeah, and so Sea Lion, I decided to use it because it was not too hard to set up to be like Visual Studio. And I will say that it is not the most efficient IDE in terms of memory usage, so there is that. If I found another IDE that had all the nice features that Sea Lion has, but was a little bit more efficient, I would probably prefer to use that. But unfortunately, there's not one that I'm aware of at the moment that would be a good alternative. And yeah. But yeah, I'm curious if anybody has any suggestions. Any suggestions that are not Vim. I'm not using Vim, okay? NeoVim, whatever Vim, I'm not touching it. If you have any suggestions for IDEs, I'd be curious to look at them. But right now we're using Sea Lion. All right. Who are you? Well, I suppose I should introduce myself. Captain Carmen Batista, Terror of Tortuga, leader of Batista's band of brutal buccaneers. To your crew. It is paid. There is a free version of it, which is what I'm currently using. Although I will be switching to the paid version. So don't sue me, JetBrains. I am gonna pay for it, but yeah. So Sea Lion is free for non-commercial use. However, I think that this is falling under commercial use, so I should be buying a paid plan. So yeah, although yeah, I don't know. I'm not making money off this stream, so I don't know if this is technically commercial. But anyway, it's falling into a gray area, and I should probably pay for it. But anyway, yeah. Let me know if you see any of them. Okay, bye. So yeah, I'd be willing to use paid IDEs so long as they're not like super expensive. Yeah. I got my frying pan. Oh yeah, I didn't use the spyglass. What can we see out here? Let me get up to a higher spot. Let me get on top of this hill. Oh, wait. What's that? We got the, You use NeoVim. Okay, yeah. I have heard people recommend NeoVim to me, but I am not learning those key combos. I am not doing that. It's just not gonna happen. NV Chad, I've never heard of that. But yeah, I've tried Vim. I am not gonna get used to it. Just give me normal key combinations, please. Also, like, I like a full-featured IDE. Like, I know you can get all these plugins and everything from, like, for Vim and stuff like that, and, like, language servers, but, like, I think the sorry, not autocomplete. I actually don't like autocomplete. What do you call that? Like when the little class browser pops up when you type. I like that. But yeah, full autocomplete I don't really like. Even though Sea Lion does have that. Yeah. Hint. Is it called a hint? Like when the, anyway. I like to have a little bit of, like, hints when I start typing, but I don't like autocomplete, if that makes sense. Alright. So that guy, over that way. And we also have our crocodile pond. We got some crocodiles over there. All right. Can I climb down? Climbing down is a lot less... Oops. Yeah! Oh, somehow I survived, probably because I fell in the water? Physics are a bit jank, but anyway. Climbing down is a lot less fun than climbing up in the game, I think, but... Oh yeah, we don't need the spyglass out. Alright, very dark inside this canyon. Yeah, so, I've been starting to think about, like, because this is quite a large world. I mean, it's not large in the VS Code is available for Arch. I know, I don't want to use VS Code. I don't like VS Code. It's, I know that, like, VS Code is, like, it's not really like Visual Studio at all, actually. Like, it's kind of its own thing, and I don't really like it as an IDE. Yeah. Anyway, I was saying, so the world is, like, small for an open world game, but large for a indie developed game. Actually, I should compare it to, like, other similar indie games, like, in terms of world size. So, like, one game that comes to mind immediately as, like, indie open world game is Sable. So I'd be curious to see, actually, how big the world is in Sable, and if a short Odyssey is bigger or smaller than that. But what was I gonna say? Anyway, I've been trying to make... I will have to make a demo of the game, because that's basically, like, if you want to sell a game these days as an indie developer, the way you basically gain traction, from what I understand, is that you should make a demo available, and then have streamers play it, stuff like that. But anyway, I'm not really sure how I should gate off the demo from the rest of the game, if that makes sense. Because I'm not sure what parts of the world to include, and how to stop people from going beyond there. You know? So that'd be interesting. The chasm is kind of one thought. Like, I could cut it off at the chasm, and leave everything on the other side of that in the full version, which will be released afterwards. But I'm not quite sure how to cut that up. Alright. We got sunrise on the other side? Yeah. The moon's coming down. A little bit of an abrupt audio transition. I need to deal with those. Something's not quite right there. Alright, what's up, Yusuf? Master of the Blade. Alright. You can't do it. Can't do it for free because of the union. 64 doubloons. Sure thing. Well, sorry, but it looks like you don't have the money right now. Damn it. Alright, blinded by the sun here. What do we got? Oh, I got an egg. But we do have... Actually, let's talk to Yusuf a little bit more. Alright. What are you doing here? Shipwrecked on the island. Okay, cool. You guys were separated? I think I did meet the captain. Alright. What are you doing here? Oh, I think I asked that. Yeah. Tell me more about the shipwreck. I use VS Code for Python development. Yeah, I don't really use Python outside of Blender scripting. And I think VS Code is probably pretty good for that. I did mess around with Python in Sea Lion, and I wasn't particularly impressed. So yeah. But yeah, if you're a Python person, I'm really not familiar with that whole world, so yeah, I'm probably doing something wrong. All right, you guys escaped in a lifeboat. Unfortunately, the lifeboat gets smashed up on the rocks. All I managed to save is one of the paddles. It's over my shelter. All right, but paddle. Let's get the paddle. All right. So he said the boat smashed up on the rocks. So let's go over to the rocks. Yeah, interesting. So, by the way, this this little sandbar here, it appears and disappears depending on the time of day because we have tides in the game. Because I thought that would be cool. But yeah, here we go. Here's the boat. I did a little bit of work on it to make it add those nice new parallax mapped textures onto it. Let's get up here so we can... Oh! Did we get the... Yeah, let's flip the boat. Cool. Get on the boat. A little bit of a clipping there, but let's... And also, more clipping. My paddle is extending outside, which is a little bit weird, but that's fine for now. All right, now we got a boat. It's a much faster way to sort of traverse the water. All right. We got this little island over here we can visit. Coming, we're getting there. Need to add more sharks and stuff. Also more music. I did plan to do another music stream. We will eventually get to that. But I need to rework the way I did it, and also I don't know if I can do it on Linux. Because there's some VST plugins that probably aren't gonna work. Because Reaper, which is the IDE that I use, does work on Linux, but it actually seems to work pretty okay. But there are a lot of VST plugins that I rely on which don't. So if I do a music stream, I might just have to do all real instruments, which is fine because I have a bunch, and I can more or less play most of them. However, yeah. Just not sure. Okay, yeah, well, you got a chest here. Bomb. Okay. Open the other way, but let's see. And we got our little seals here, which are cool, but serve no purpose as of yet. They just sort of sit here. So I'm gonna need some, like, they're kind of just like... Yeah, look at this guy. Although, actually, let's see if I can get the seal writing, because one of our players found that the seals were actually the fastest method of transport. So if I can balance on the back of a seal, oh no, yeah, if you can balance on the back of the seal and then somehow paddle them, you can apparently go quite fast. But I've never really been able to get it to work for very long. All right. Can we? Oh, shit. Okay, no, but we fall off pretty much immediately. Anyway, that was worth a shot. All right, let's get back to the boat. Yeah, you can see this area has no background music, which is a little bit disappointing. But we can get back to our boat. Okay, pull this guy out. The paddle. Now let's back out. Oh, can we do a 3-point turn? I don't know if that's something you could physically do in a boat. I think that would be pretty difficult, unless, yeah, because like the turning is kind of messed because you could just kind of immediately turn. Yeah, I've done a little bit of canoeing, and it doesn't work quite this easily. All right, can we get this boat up to the big boat? Pretty cool. We can see the plume of smoke all the way over here. All right, we're almost there. Are we gonna see any of the sharks? No, something's off the starboard side. That's got to be a shark. Oh no, that's not a shark. That's a seagull. He was like, I don't know, taking a little bath, I guess. All right, let's. There are the sharks. They're off the port side. Alright. Here we go. Can I climb into here? That's gonna be interesting. Alright. Maybe I can... Let's turn this around. Get right up to it. Jesus Christ. Come on. Turn. Alright, this is probably good. Okay. Oh! Oh god! Some collision issues. This is the problem with mesh colliders. So the problem is that this guy's collision is like entirely based off the data in Blender, which is like meant for visual, basically just the look of the ship, but it's doing double duty. So there's a lot of weird collision geometry, but you know, it's just something we gotta deal with. Anyway, it is 4 o'clock now, which means we've reached towards the end of the stream. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate seeing a couple of people return from last stream. It means we're growing, which is good. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do that down below, please. Like the video, and really importantly, below this video is a link to the Steam page for this game. I'd really appreciate it if anybody who's interested in the game, you wishlist the game on Steam, because that'll let you know, it'll let you know, first of all, let Valve know that you're interested in the game, which is great. That helps me. And it lets you know when the game is ready for release, and when it goes on sale, or anything like that, so that you can immediately buy it when it's ready. And you'll get an email for that. And then also, link to the Discord down below if you want to talk about the game, or if you want to potentially be involved in playtests or suggest stream topics. And yeah, so thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next week around the same time. And thanks for watching, and do not forget to like and subscribe.